Howdy, folks, and welcome back. I've got a special little interview here. My co-host, or one of my co-hosts from Tuning Into Sci-Fi TV, which is the podcast that I've talked about before, where we talk about genre television, sci-fi, fantasy, horror, that sort of thing. Kevin Bachelder has joined me, and he is another fan of The Warning. And when I told him I was doing my ranking of the Keep Me Fed songs, I suggested maybe he come on and share his ranking, and he's agreed to do that. So I'm very happy he's here. Kevin, hello.
Hello. Thank you for having me on. It's you are the gateway drug. You're the one who got me into The Warning. So
Tell us about that.
Yeah, well, as you said, we're co-hosts on our Tuning Into Sci-Fi TV podcast, known each other for 15, 16 years, long time.
Yeah, it's been a while.
So,
Kevin, it's almost 20.
It is almost 20, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yes.
I think it might be 20.
Known each other for quite a while. So, yeah, along with doing the podcasts, we also just chat about other things in life. And you have talked about The Warning a little bit, kind of was there on my radar. I'm not, as we'll find out, I'm stuck very much in the 80s for most of my music loves, 70s and 80s. So I haven't been listening to many new bands, but you were so positive and all that you kind of got me to at least listen to a little bit and then really dive in a lot more over the last several months.
It's really tough to do that, to tell people about a band when you're really excited about them, like I was, because you got to not be super hype, because then they're like, "Oh boy, back off,
yeah.
Crazy person."
Yeah, and don't we know it? Talking about TV shows and movies, and in this case, music. Yeah, no, you did a good job. You were very
good,
very positive about it, without being a creepy stalker guy.
I'm glad. There are other friends I've been telling about The Warning, and they're like, "You're a creepy stalker guy. Go away." Okay, whatever.
Well, it helps I've known you for that long. So
that's true. That's true. Well, some of these guys I've known for like 30 years. So anyway, and I want to tell you, folks, just because Kevin told us a little bit about the backstory of how he found The Warning, and it's so easy to fall in love with this group once you start digging into them and finding out who they are as people. I'll tell you a little bit about me too and how I found them. I originally saw the viral Enter Sandman hit video. It came out in 2014, I think, and I saw it in 2015, but I didn't think much about it. I just thought, oh, that's kind of cool, and moved on. Then I rediscovered them in a way, The Warning, back in 2019, I'd say. 2019 to 2020, somewhere in that range. Maybe when the pandemic hit, I was scouring YouTube a lot, and I found them again. And again, I thought, oh, that's cool. They've done more with that thing. These are the same girls at the time. Great. And then of course, as Error came out, that's when I started going, oh, this is really good. And started digging more and finding the interviews and the documentaries and all that stuff, and realizing, hey, this is a cool story. They're really talented, and it's a really great story. That's when I fell in love.
Hey, speaking of Error,
Oh, yeah.
Yep, got my T-shirt on.
Excellent.
So I figured better theme it up.
Yeah, I didn't wear my hat. I probably should have worn my hat. Oh, well.
All of us aren't as lucky as you to go to special private release parties.
Lucky is the word for it. It was total luck. It was entering a contest and lucking out and getting a ticket. So that was amazing. My ears recovered pretty quickly, but I'm looking forward to seeing it.
It was a lot of fun watching your video about it, and again, being able to share that excitement. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to seeing them in Pomona, which will be after you see them. You're going to see them in Boston when they start their tour in America.
Very excited to be seeing them in Boston, September the 13th. The show is now sold out. It's a nice small venue, so I'm super excited.
Yeah, really looking forward to that. So, Keep Me Fed. I released a video. The viewers of this probably have already seen it, I hope. If not, maybe I'll throw a link. I don't know if I will remember to do that, but if I do, otherwise just search for ranking on my channel and you'll find it. Where I ranked the songs from Keep Me Fed. I struggled. I listened to it for a week straight. Not every minute of the week. Give me a break. But for a week, I was listening to the album over and over again, and I finally sat down and said, okay, it's a challenge to myself, because all of the songs are good. And I even say in this video, there's not a bad song here. But I challenged myself to say, okay, I'm going to rank them from 12 to 1. 12 is not the worst. 12 is just the least best, if you want to call it that. And all the way to 1. And I released that video. And Kevin says, in preparation for this, he did not watch my video, and I believe him. So what we're going to do is we're going to go 12 to 1 again, and we're going to ask Kevin to tell us number 12, and then I'll tell him what I picked for number 12. And then we'll move on, and we'll go to 11 and so forth and so on. And I've got some cool graphics for that, so I'm going to try to hit number 12 right now. Kevin, you won't see anything, but the viewers will see this, I think. So there we go. Number 12. All right, Kevin. What is your number 12 pick?
For me, it is QMQ.
Okay. K-Moss Curious. Excellent.
Yeah. And again, as you said, not a bad song, just out of 12, really enjoyable songs. It came in at number 12 for me.
Yeah. Any details about why you picked it? Why you did that, other than it just ranked there?
It just kind of, yeah. I mean, and the way I kind of going through my list, talking about some of yours, is, for me, I listen as I'm listening. I kind of put them in a list. I then re-listen, and then just, things bubble up, things bubble down, and then, I could keep tweaking it every other time I listen.
Yeah.
But
tell me about it.
But it's just mainly for me. Yeah, that one just kind of came there. It's not a negative thing. I mean, I'm someone, when it comes to most of my music, as I think you'll, the folks watching and you as well will find that for me, it's something that's really got a chorus and a hook and driving beat or something is going to tend to be songs that are going to bubble to the top for me.
Excellent. That's cool. My number 12, I had to pick one, just like you, is Escapism. I picked that one as my number 12, and no real reason other than it was the least, at that moment in time, the least favorite. That didn't mean it was bad. It was a good song. So I put Escapism at 12.
It will be interesting to see, which song ends up being the most divergent between us, the most between them. So
yeah, I wonder if we compare our
back of my head.
We'll see that. So moving on, hit the little graphic. Number 11. Kevin, what's your 11?
11 is 6 Feet Deep.
Wow. Okay. Why? Or what did you, instead of why is it 11, just tell me what you like about it. Let's just say that.
It's interesting. The thing that I love about the band, I love all of the lyric videos they put out, because then as I'm, as someone, again, showing my age, listening to albums when you're younger, you didn't often get lyrics. So I go through and purposely, when I'm listening to new songs, I don't want to know the lyrics. So I'm just listening for what the song is, and then I'll go back, learn a little more. Sometimes that meaning pulls out, more of a meaning to me of what I might enjoy the song. Sometimes it doesn't. 6 Feet Deep, I don't know. It just, I like it, but it's not as consistent throughout the song as I think some of the other songs are for enjoyment.
That's cool. My number 11 choice was Consume, which is the one that got them the naughty notice on the album.
Yeah, the explicit tag.
And that's not why I put him at number 11. I still like the song. Like I said, I like all of them. It's just I had to find an order, and that day when I did it, that was the order. Number 11 for Consume for me. That's cool that you put 6 Feet Deep there. I think we diverge quite a bit on that one. There's a spoiler ahead. 6 Feet Deep's a little higher on my list.
Okay.
All right. Well, let's jump to number 10.
Number 10?
Go ahead. Give me a 10.
10 is your 11, Consume.
Consume. Okay. We're close on that one.
Close on that one, yeah.
And you like the fact that you heard him say the F word, right?
It wasn't, that wasn't really as impactful for me. I got a chuckle out of hearing the story, talking about how much, their mom didn't like it, but, it fits the song for what they're trying to do there.
Yeah, that was funny too.
Mm-hmm.
All right. My number 10 is your number 12, K-Moss Curious. And I actually do like the chorus here. I especially like the chorus more than I think the rest of it. I love the screaming, that the kind of it's a anthemic kind of thing, right? And in concert, they played it when I was there in LA, and everybody was chanting along during the chorus, and that's the one that Danny especially talks about, how she gets really excited and really happy when non-Spanish speaking audiences are singing that song back to them, and it's really cool. But I do dig it. I dig all these songs, but I put that one at number 10.
Yeah, and it's funny too because hearing her talk about that, made me feel bad that I don't like it more. But it's just the way it is.
Yeah, and maybe we'll come back at some point and do a top 10 all-time warning songs, because I've done that before, and I'm going to update mine as well. And I'm sure I know there are some songs on there. I like all of the warning songs of all their albums. There are some that, are fine to listen to, but I don't like put them in my playlist,
It was funny. I created what I call, and I do this with other bands too. I use Spotify for my music player, and I call it. So I have one called the Warning Prime Cuts. It's just the thing I do when I look in. And I purposely, when I created it initially, put the songs by album, not by favorite, like 1 to 10 for me. So it was interesting to see how many I had from each album. Yeah. And that's kind of fun for me because then, like you said, in terms of picking an overall band favorite set, I'm like, I'm going to have to really think that through because some of these, don't really jive with the release timing. And so it's just an interesting way. I kind of like when I listen to it, a lot of my playlists I will put on shuffle. But for some reason so far with that one for the warning, I like starting at their earliest stuff that I really like and then working my way to the newer stuff. I don't know. It's like I can hear an evolution or I can hear a maturity or something, and I kind of like that.
Yeah, and you can also
listening to it.
You also get to think about the context of that too, right? It's not just the maturity, but you get to think about, because one of the things that I think you love and I love and I think all Warning fans really love is just their story of where they came from and everything, and you can hear that when you play it in order like that. So that's cool. I mean, you can think about it is what I'm trying to say. You imagine it as you're hearing those songs in order. So that's a cool way of doing it. All right. Well, moving on to number 9, Kevin. What's your number 9 pick?
My number 9 is Apologize.
Cool. What do you like about it?
This is one of those songs that I dig. I enjoy more once I understood the lyrics and some of what they're trying to do with it. And hearing the band talk about it a little bit, I know they did those really brief, like that one called intros, info about each song that was just put out on YouTube not long ago.
Yeah.
And again, that's one, I know they've talked, what they were trying to accomplish with it. And I like it, but it's also one of those songs where my enjoyment of the song kind of wanders a little in it. So that's why it doesn't rank as higher. Most of the other songs, when we get top of the list, like for me, from second one till the final note, it's a very either growing love of the song or very consistent. Some of these other ones, while I enjoy them, they're a bit up and down. And Apologize is that way kind of for me. Because at this point, not being a spoilery, but going ahead now for the next 8 of mine, they're a little more consistent, I think, in my enjoyment.
All right. I got you. Yeah. I Apologize is a little higher up on my list, but I love especially Pow with her screaming apologize. Yeah, you're mad at somebody.
Signature.
Yeah. That's a good one. My number 9 is Burnout. I kind of dig the funkiness of Burnout. And it's starting, like I said, it's the top 10. We're in the top 10 of my list. So it's not like any of them are bad, like I've said before, but I kind of dig it. It's a hard video, the official music video on that one, hard video to show to somebody who doesn't know the warning. You don't want to do that because it's got so many in-jokes and references.
Inside, yeah, it is. It's what they call it, inside baseball or whatever the phrase people say. Yeah, you don't appreciate it as much if you don't know a lot of why.
Yeah. I've seen a couple of reactors make that their first video, and everybody in the comments is like, "Oh no,
no, don't start there,"
because they watch it and they're like, "I don't get it." But it's
almost
a cool
like
song.
Not that it could happen, but I find it interesting because I think you and I and a lot of fans watch a lot of the reactors on YouTube, and naturally, as I skim through comments, you got folks recommending which song either are their favorite or ones they think that some reactor, especially when it's a new reactor, should listen to. But it's almost like we need to put like this moving poll there to kind of give folks, the reactors, a better idea, because otherwise you get there's so many, which is great. There are so many awesome ones to pick from.
Yeah.
It's like you want to see them have a build up maybe to something they really love.
Yeah, I do see some. You're a patron now of The Warning, and you're on the Discord as well. And there is a channel there about reactions where they list all the reactions that come out. And I have tried to keep up on those, and I do look at those comments that you're talking about. And I think there are some variation in the recommendations, but there's some real gems that everybody seems to reference. And one common theme is everybody says, "Watch the live version. Watch the live version.
Yeah,
watch the live version." There are some good official music videos, but in some cases, like Evolve, I'm in agreement with them. The live versions are a little better, but Evolve itself, the OMV is pretty good too. So, yeah, that was my 9 Burnout. So, moving on to number 8, Kevin. What do you got?
For me, number 8 is Sharks.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I like that. That's one that has grown on me the more I hear it.
Yeah, I totally.
It was a little odd when I first heard it, and then almost like novelty or something in terms of okay, I'm going to talk about Shark. But the more I listen, it's just got one of those earworm things to me.
Mm-hmm.
I listen to it and it sticks in my head all day.
Yeah, I totally get you. The more and more I heard that, the higher and higher it went on my list as well. And that same earworm thing to me, I talk about it in my video, which you'll be able to watch after this if you want to, is 6 Feet Deep, which was higher on your list. Or lower on your list, I guess, if you want to call it that way. That one was an earworm to me. And to this day, I still will wake up in the morning with that song going through my head. And I don't know why. It just is so catchy to me that it's just sticking in my head. I don't know if it's the video. The video was great. I love the video. So maybe that had something to do with it. I don't know. But yeah, my number 8 is the first song that was ever released from this album, More. I put More at number 8. And I just dig it. I mean, when I first heard the music video for More, like a lot of the longtime fans, I wasn't a longtime fan at that point, right? I had only been a serious diehard fan for like 6 months. But when that came out, a lot of fans were like, "Ooh, this is different. This is kind of poppy. We don't know if this is really rock, and all that stuff." But it grew on me. And as they saw it, they performed it live, like on the VMAs. I was like, I dig this song. This is a really cool song. Yeah, it's got some poppy elements, but it's rock. It's a rock pop song, whatever you want to call it. So I really dig it. So I put it at number 8.
Gotcha.
All right. I'm sure your More is coming up, and the way that you're really quiet makes me think it might be number 7. So, Kevin, what is number 7 for you?
Well, it's not More. And number 7 actually is Escapism.
Oh, Escapism. My number 12. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. What do you like about it?
I'm not sure. I tried to make seriously, I tried to make a note or two on some of these, like knowing we're going to have a conversation, but Escapism is like, I just kind of like it in the middle of the pack for the album songs,
I know what you mean about not being sure, because when I did my list, I also it was very subjective. These are subjective lists, guys. There's no objectivity about this, right? It's just the way we think. And when I was putting them on my list and writing a little bit of notes for my video, I had to come up with reasons why I put them there, or why I thought they should be there. And so I was like finding little things in the songs that, and in every case, it was not, I don't like this, so it's down here. It was more like, here's something cool. Here's something cool. I was pointing out good stuff in them. So yeah, I get what you mean about you know where you want to put them, but you're not quite sure why. I get that.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Did I say number 7? I did not.
Not yet.
We'll go back to number 7. I played the number 6 logo. You didn't see that. But number 7, I picked Satisfied. It's a middle of the pack song, just like you said, for me. It's good. They're all good. It's catchy. I like parts of that song really well. A lot of it. A lot. Is that all right? Is that the way to say it? But Satisfied was my choice. Like I said, I don't have my notes here in front of me of why what I really liked about it, so I can't really say it. But my video has got all that if somebody wants to go watch that. So, all right, now I'll hit the number 6 thing. All right, number 6, Kevin. What do you got?
My number 6 is Satisfied.
Cool. Close on that one too.
Yeah.
Well, we haven't
matched any yet, but I think
we got close. We haven't matched. Consume and
Consume in
Satisfied.
this one. Yeah.
What do you like about it? Because your notes are there.
Well, I like that this is a song that when I listen to it, it's one that I'm enjoying more as I listen to it more. It's just kind of a nice. I hate to say this phrase, but it's just a nice the warning song. You know what I mean? It's not like a cornerstone where someone said pick one or two of the great ones, and it's not one where, as what you talked about earlier, with someone doing a reaction to something, you want to make sure they got it one. It's a song that I go, yeah, this is good, not great, but good.
It's a good representation of their work.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
for me, yeah,
totally get it. That's probably why I put it there too. All right, my number 6 is Sick. Sick being the second song they released from the album. Very similar to the More with me. In fact, even more so. Even more so. Sick, when that video came out and we could hear the official studio version of the song, I was like, this is so distorted. They're putting filters on Danny's voice. Why are they doing this? I don't understand. I wasn't appreciating the song. I was hooked, caught up in the process, in the production, right? Because we know they have a different production angle on this album. They've talked about it. They've said they're doing it totally differently. They're trying to learn. They're trying to grow. They're trying to evolve. They're going to pick and choose from this album the things they liked that worked and the things that didn't. And so anyway, when I saw and heard Sick for the first time, I'm like, ugh. But then again, it's an earworm. It just kept coming into my head and I couldn't get rid of it. And the more and more I heard it, and then seeing it perform live and hearing it perform live as well helps with that, because those filters aren't there. You get Danny's great voice singing that song, and then the screaming Sick, the whole, again, engaging the crowd part was just great. So that's what put it at number 6 for me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, makes perfect sense.
All right. Number 5. What do you got?
Number 5. And for me, just informationally, this is kind of the dividing line between what I call good songs and what I call now great songs that I really love very much. As we've been going, there's been a little more enjoyment in each, but this is a big leap between 6 and 5.
These are the ones that would be on your playlist.
Yes.
Okay.
Most definitely. For me, at 5, I have Burnout.
Cool.
Really, and this was before, this would have been before I had seen the official video, which again is fun for those of us who are fans, certainly getting it. But this is what I would use the phrase catchy. It's just really catchy for me, so I really enjoy it.
Excellent. Yeah, I'm totally with you. I thought it was kind of catchy too, and it's kind of funky. I like the start.
Yeah,
it's kind of a funky start.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I like it. Well, I mean, it's throughout it, but the start is what really gets you, draws you in. All right, my number 5 is Apologize. I just love Pow screaming Apologize. I just dig that song, and I just dig the message in it. I mean, the entire album has got something to do with, and I'm going to use the term loosely, relationships. They've talked about that. It's not necessarily a relationship between people. It could be a relationship between a person and something. You can apply it to whatever you want, but this one is, as Pow explained, I think in that video released on YouTube you were talking about, this is I think the example that they were giving was if you're like working on a project and there's, no, oh wait a minute, is that this one? That is this one, isn't it? Where somebody takes credit for something? Or no, that's Burnout. That's Burnout.
No,
sorry. That's Burnout. Yeah. That's Burnout. But anyway, this is the person who, has done you wrong, basically. Or I guess it would be, there's no way to say this isn't a person. That somebody who's done you wrong and you're just like, come on, man, you've caused me all this grief. Just apologize. Just stop denying it, I dig the song. I dig it. And who can't love Pow screaming, So, I don't know. She screams. Oh, that was a great story. That also, then one of the interviews that she talked about Apologize, the Anton DeLoss, their producer on this one, was when they were working on the song, he said, you really want to scream because you're going to have to scream every night when you play it. And she's like, Anton. I scream every night we play. Anyway, have you ever watched one of our performances?
Yeah.
Especially on Evolve and the closer. So, yeah, I dig it. Number 4, Kevin. What do you got?
For me, number 4 is Sick.
Okay.
I really like it. This is one that I watched the music video pretty early on once I started to listen to the song.
Yeah.
And it's interesting. You talk about how More is a little poppy, and maybe for a lot of longtime fans, not in their traditional approach. But for me, I found Sick a little bit outside of what up till then I had kind of heard in the Warning songs. Mm-hmm. This one seemed a little more confident, a little more willing to put themselves out there in terms of the way they did it. I don't know. That's just for me. It just felt a little like they were stepping up game a bit.
Yeah, I've already talked about it. I dig the song. I dig the whole Sick part. I dig getting the audience involved. And you're right. I think this video would have come out soon after, or right around the time that I introduced you to the band. I think, right? Somewhere around.
It all merges together.
It all merges together. Yeah. Yeah. It's a cool song, and the story behind it. Of course, everybody's heard the story if you've been paying attention to the Warning about how that's just what Anton DeLoss would say all the time. He would say, "Sick. That's sick." They said, "Let's make a song out of it." That works pretty good. My number 4 is obviously higher on your list than number 4 because we haven't gotten to it yet for you. Automatic Sun.
Okay.
Automatic Sun. A little bit of the same thing with me. I've mentioned this in my reactions. Anybody who watches my reactions, which are blind, they're 100% blind to a song when they release it. I've never heard it before. I haven't even heard the samples because they release these little samples and little teasers. I don't want to listen to those either. But I've mentioned this in my reactions. If you look at my reactions, you'll think I don't like the Warning or something because I listen to the songs and I point out things I don't like. I point out things now I'm better at pointing out things I like. But sometimes I'll point out things I don't like. And one of the things with Automatic Sun that when I first heard it was like, man, that guitar is, I guess it wasn't a negative, but the guitar in the beginning, the baritone guitar that she uses, I was like, man, that thing is so different than the sound I'm normally hearing. And I was pointing that out, and then there were a couple of people in my comments who were like, I guess you didn't like the song. Huh? No, I love the song. But that is one that Pau, Danny, and now Ali have all said is, at least in one interview, is their favorite song of the album. Not their favorite song, period, that they've ever done, but their favorite song of the album. And Pau specifically says she loves the drum work in it. It's her favorite song to play drums to. And you can hear it, I think. It's just, that is a song, and I dig the ending too, man. There's that bit in the middle where everything goes just to the bass drum and the bass. You know, they've done that in a couple of songs.
You feel it. You really feel it.
They've done that in 2 or 3 songs on this album. I can't remember exactly how many, but they do that bit where Danica is free to sing. She doesn't have Hell You Call a Dream. They do it as well, but she's free to sing, and her vocals are just so cool. They're so different. I hesitate to use the word, since we've seen these girls since they were little. I hesitate to use the word sensual, but it was very sensual, I guess, in the way she's singing. If you kind of get what I mean, and she even echoes that at the end. You know, when they do that weird, I call it discordant, but whatever that is, that their closeout, where she does kind of a very, very sensual sort of sound comes out of her. And it's just so different for them. And it's so cool. And it's so adult. Maybe that's what it is. It's hard. It's adult. So Automatic Sun for me is number 4. I love it.
Totally, all right. Totally get it.
Totally. Number 3, Kevin. What do you got? Number 3.
You just talked about it. Automatic Sun.
Aha. We're close again. We still haven't hit the same yet. But there's still a chance. I'm looking at my list. There's still a chance.
Yeah, and you described it. There's so much to this song in that sense. Like you said, there's different sounds. There's sounds you can, for me anyway, very much, and again, I'm not saying in a bad way, but you very much identify like, that's not something I'm usually hearing. Mm-hmm. Whether it's the vocal or vocals or any part of it, guitar, bass, drum part, sometimes you hear them all collectively, and sometimes I hear them individually. And this is a song where I'm hearing just that, individuals, all of it, the vocals, hearing them talk about it now in terms of what the meaning of the song is, and the positivity very much. And then the fact that they all talk about, as you said in multiple interviews, that, it is, if not certainly one of the favorites from this one. It's just a really, crank it up when it comes on or when I'm playing it from beginning to end.
Yeah, the thing you talked about every time you're hearing it, you're hearing different parts of the song. A lot of people who are more music aficionados than me, I just like this stuff, right? There's a lot of people who are really into it. And
they know more. Yeah, they know more than we knew.
Yeah, and they talk about The Warning in general, not just this album, not just these songs, about how it is so impressive that this three-piece, they can hear all of the instruments. Whereas in a lot of bands, the bass is there, but it's kind of buried. It's not buried for The Warning. Oh, heck no. Ali is out front, center, kicks off a number of songs. Not necessarily. Oh, yeah, actually, she kicks off some here too, like Burnout, which, if not mistaken, I think Burnout was another one of those things that Ali came up with the bass stuff for a long time ago, and then they turned into a song, if I remember correctly. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't remember. But it's cool how you can hear everything with them. You can tell. It just sounds different. My number 3 is I think it might have been your number 12, 6 Feet Deep. Was that?
Yeah, that was my number 11.
Oh, you're 11. Yeah, 6 Feet Deep.
Wow, it's got to be our biggest divergence there. 11 to 3.
Well, maybe. Well, I got a couple more after this. But 6 Feet Deep, like I said, the official music video was really cool. Very cool, very creepy, very Stranger Things / Nightmare on Elm Street / a lot of people. I saw one reactor who's a film buff, who's really into film, and cited like 6 or 7 different references in that video to different horror movies from the 80s
horror
mostly.
Movies, yeah.
And so I thought that was cool. But the song itself, like I said, I still to this day, this morning, woke up with that song running through my head, and I can't stop it. I have to like go do something else for it to stop running through my head. But yeah, to me, it was number 3 for sure. Top 3. All right. Number 2.
Number 2.
Can we do it? Can we do it? Can we match?
We will find out right here, won't we? Number 2 for me is More.
Nope, we didn't match. I already picked More.
I know a lot of longtime fans say the pop part kind of catches them off guard or whatever, but maybe it's my 80s pop roots. But man, I love this song from the first time I heard it. Absolutely love it. And then it just goes up with the MTV version, the Video Music Award video of it. It's just so energetic and so great. The energy they bring together. And again, yeah, maybe it's the pop side of it, but man, it's just absolutely love it.
I can't deny any of that. That's absolutely true. It's a great song, and especially I love when they first. I think it was the Gear Masters video. I don't know if you've seen those where they talk about their equipment, where Pow talks about the cowbell, or as the fans call it now, the Pow bell. And how she hadn't used that in a long time. And if you look back on their channel, the last time I think you see that being used was when she was like 11 or something, and she's doing a cover of a song, Kelly Clarkson song.
Oh wow!
I don't think
I've heard that. No,
you should go check their YouTube channel for that one. She's real young. She's all by herself on the drums. She's got headphones on. She's just playing the drums to that song, and she's got a cowbell as part of that song, and she's just like hitting this cowbell. Well, she talks about how she hasn't used one in a long time. And by the way, did you see the short video on social media and Instagram that went around with her putting the McDonald's French fries in her cowbell?
No.
Oh, that was hilarious. One. She was on sound check. She was doing a sound check, and somebody had brought her some food because she was hungry, and it was McDonald's French fries, and she stuck them in the cowbell, and she was pulling out fries and eating them as she was doing her sound check. It's very funny.
Oh, no. I haven't seen that one yet. That sounds perfect.
Yeah, there's so much stuff out there. You can just keep looking forever.
I know.
All right, my number 2 is Hell You Call a Dream, which I guess is your number one. If I do the math.
It's kind of, you can't avoid that.
Can't avoid that. So we'll get to that in a second. But my Hell You Call a Dream, or Hell You Call a Dream is number 2 for me. First time I heard this one, they released a lyric video, and then very soon after, the live performance from Pepsi Center. And I can't remember. I'll have to go check my YouTube channel. I can't remember if I was late to the lyric and just went straight to the live, but I think I did the lyric and then the live. I'm pretty sure I did the lyric and then the live. And it's another case of two things. One, the Warning being very good at reproducing live what they did in the studio, or as Ali put it in one of the documentaries, trying to do the studio version to match the live. Now, they admit that that's not the case with Keep Me Fed. They've even talked about how hard it is to figure out how to play a lot of these songs live. And they're using more, for good reason, they're using more backing tracks to cover some of the sound effects and things that they have in these. But this one sounded amazing live. Yes, they had some backing tracks there, you could see. But their performance at the Pepsi Center was just epic. And that's one of the songs, one of the videos I recommend to people when I'm trying to turn them on, is watch this or watch Evolve on the VMAs. Or, there's, now I'll recommend 6 Feet Deep because I love it so much, but you may not, but I will. Yeah, Hell You Call a Dream to me is number 2 for sure. And what was I going to say? I was going to say one more thing, which was that the other thing about the Warning, I said there's 2 things. One, that they match. The other thing is the amount of there's a bunch of things. I'm not going to limit it to 2. One is in the video, seeing how incredibly happy Pau is playing that song live. The smiles on her face and just the joy in her as she's playing that is just amazing. Danny, again, going to just bass and bass drum, and her getting up on there and starting to sing in the beginning. And there's another point where she sings too. And the range, she gets such high notes for so long, so pure notes as she's singing a couple of the lines. One, she sings more really loud, and then when she comes back from that, it's just, I dig it. And the story behind it, which we can talk about when we get to your number 1, but the story behind it is also pretty powerful. All right.
Agreed.
Number 1, Kevin.
Well, again, Process of Elimination, Hell You Call a Dream. And by a pretty good margin, too.
Yeah.
And you mentioned a lot of the things for me. This is the song, certainly from this album, because, again, I won't push away all the other songs because there are some great ones that would make top 5s all time for me. But emotionally, damn, I can feel it, as you said, in her voice, very much in the vocals, but also when you're watching them play it, Ali and Pau, at the different parts in this song. I can just feel emotion is just oozing out of the recording, especially the live of this, as we say, playing live is their superpower. Man, I just love it. I mean, this is usually the song when someone wants to say, why do you like this band? I will just take that video and say, just set aside 3.5 minutes or whatever it is and just experience this. Not just hear it, experience it. It's more than just the sound of what's there.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, like I said, Pau's smiling and then the emotion in Danny's voice. Yeah, you got it. Yeah, you and I agree on that. If we had to pick one song or video to show people, it would be that one for sure. And also the story behind it, the whole concept of what it means. I mean, it's based on their dream and the hell they have to go through to live their dream. The touring, and with Danny now with her hurt back, which I heard through the grapevine, she actually hurt back in like 2022, I think. And she's now sadly, and I'm very sad about this, it's a recurring problem with her back, which is, gosh, for so young to have a back problem that's chronic. Oh no, I feel so bad for her, but that's part of the hell of the travel. And they talk all the time about how they're so tired all the time. They're constantly on the road, and that's the hell part, but they wouldn't trade it for the world because it's their dream.
That's right.
And they love it. They love it so much. They love meeting the fans. They love singing for people. It's not like, it's that dichotomy, right? It's absolutely the best thing ever, and what they've always wanted, and what they want to do for the rest of their lives. But it's also something that is horrible and taxing on them. And they're not trying to get sympathy, but the song just conveys that. I think, really, really well. Yeah, that's why I love it. Yeah.
That's why I say it brings up the emotion of appreciating, what they've gone through so far to get where they're at, how much they appreciate it, how much we can look at their journey and just be proud of what they've done and enjoy it as a fan for them. It all serves in. Every now and then there are certain songs for me, apart from when you're in the car and you want to just crank it up to 11 and feel it, that you also just enjoy what goes into what it became, and understanding all that. It just makes, again, I try to use the word experience rather than just listen to the song. You experience it because all that filters into me as I'm listening to different parts of the song.
Yeah, it adds extra meaning. I mean, the first time I heard the song, I didn't know anything about the story, and I still loved it. But yeah, knowing about where it came from and what it really means just adds. And that's true of all of them. When you find out what they say all the time, the songs are what you think they are, what they mean to you. They don't try to say our way is the only way. And if you think of that this song means something else, then you're wrong. They never say that. They make a point of saying it's up to you. But they also make a point, like you said in that series on YouTube, of saying why, what these songs meant to them, why they wrote these songs, what they think they mean, and to find out what they thought about How We Call a Dream. That just adds so much more to it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Kevin,
it does.
Have you been keeping score on my list? You know what my number one is? It's okay.
Is it trying to think which ones I haven't heard you say. I'm not sure. Sharks?
I talked about all yours. So what'd you say?
Sharks?
Yeah. Number one is Sharks for me. Sharks is, initially when I did my list right before I recorded, I had Sharks and 6 Feet Deep flipped. I had Sharks at 3 and 6 Feet Deep at 1. Because 6 Feet Deep, I thought because it was in my brain and I couldn't get rid of it, that it must be number one. But then I just was listening to them again just to kind of say, am I sure about this? And Sharks there's something about it that I had to put it at number one. It's also a song that has free rent in my head. But it just, the variety in this song, and I've heard there's somebody on my comments who said that it's not the song, he doesn't like Sharks because it doesn't really change much. And I'm like, are you listening to the same song? Sharks has got so many different segments to it. It's got whispering, don't bleed. It's got the don't bleed stuff, which is really cool. It's got like a girl group thing at the end where they sound like they're from the 90s or something, doing a little girl group stuff with Danny like hitting the guitar heavy in the middle of it. And just the whole concept. I mean, yeah, people say, oh, it must be about the sharks in the music industry, but I think it's just, as the ladies explained, it's just about those type of people. Period, no matter where they are. But the whole thing, about and I also got to give it to Pow. I love the fact that Pow lied to us. Dang it! But she did it for a good reason. There was a live Q&A of the Patreons, the high tiers of the Patreons, where somebody asked her straight up, "Did you sing any lead on any of the songs in this album?" And she said no. And she sings lead on this one. And then she went and explained it. And I think she explained it in that YouTube series where she wasn't originally going to sing lead on it. She has made the decision that, and it was a band decision, I guess. It wasn't just her, but it was a band decision that she was singing too much. There were too many songs that they wanted to put in the concerts, in the performances, that she sings a lot on. Either Dust to Dust, where she's a lead, or 23 in some cases. Things where she sings a lot. In Disciple, where she's singing half, she's sharing the lead vocals with Danny, that she's like, that's kind of killing me. Even though she can sing just fine while drumming, if she does it for half the songs, it's exhausting.
The live show. Yep.
So she got the they all agreed that they would limit her singing on this album, but it came down to the point where, because of the guitar work in Sharks, it was too hard on Danny to sing lead for it. So Pow sang lead on it. And I think it's great. It was such a surprise for me when I first heard the lyric video when it came out. Again, I acted these totally blind. And I heard it, and then like 2 lines in, I'm like, that's Pow. She said she wasn't singing anything, and that's Pow singing. And it was so cool to hear her. And yeah, just this song for not only the Powell part, because I love Powell, but I mean Ali, I love them all. Danny, you can't pick a favorite at any given day. I just like their songs. I love them all. But the fact that she's so cool as that badass rock drummer who can sing while she's drumming, and to hear her doing this, and then the variety. There's a kind of a rappy sort of bit to it at some point. Like I said, there's a girl group sort of point to it. Very poppy element, that little bit right there where they're kind of
Sharks. Yeah, it's funny. I was just thinking in my head, pick out the pop songs from the album, and yes, Sharks would be one of them. Or I wouldn't say pop songs, more towards pop.
Than maybe pop rock. Elements. Yeah, pop inspired, pop whatever, element. Pop lyric-y. I don't know, whatever you want to call it. But they're all rock, but there's pop in them, and they admit that they've talked about that before. There are influences. In fact, somebody in an interview asked them a great question. They said, what would make a song pop or rock? And the answer came down to production. It's, do you make it a rock song in production? Because the same lyrics can be a pop or rock song, is what they were saying, basically. It's just how you produce it and how you structure the song, or structure the music to make it rock, and all their stuff's rock. So that was my number one. And now you know spoilers for my video. So, but
I'll appreciate insights.
I have more detail and more production in my video too. So
yeah, and it'll get me thinking in comparisons to my list. So that means I got a 7-spot difference on that. Is that probably the biggest divergence we have?
Where was your Sharks? What number?
8.
I should have written down yours as I wrote. I didn't. Yeah, it's 7. 6 Feet Deep was pretty big.
Yeah, that's true too.
11-3.
Yep, that's 8.
The same.
That's even bigger.
Same difference, isn't it? I think so. Oh no, it's a little bit bigger.
No,
You're right. It's
a little bit bigger.
Yeah. So we're not. So in 2 cases or 3 cases, we came close, but the rest of them were pretty opposites almost, which is fine. Like you said,
that's what late night, because you get what you get out of each song. It's not like a right or wrong thing. I always, again, growing up with music in the 70s and 80s, anytime I'd see in a magazine or whatever, a review of an album, I'm like, I'm not even going to read that. Songs are so personal to everybody and what they mean. I have a hard time, understanding how and maybe you can talk about the quality of the playing or the quality of the lyrics, but when you bring everything together on what a song is and it's how it hits you, I'm never someone who's going to look at quote a review of it. That's why it's fascinating with all of like the stuff you're doing and other reactors do. Seeing someone hear something for the first time and how it impacts them on a given day. That's what makes me really appreciate a song. When you hear sometimes how someone finds something in it that just strikes that chord with them. It just, I don't know. It makes me, the next time I'm listening to a song, I don't want to say listen differently, but I'm listening now with more than just my ears on it or my views of it to get more out of it.
Yeah, happens to me too. Yeah, especially when that's one reason, probably the main reason I love watching people react to songs I like. And it's not just The Warning. I know you probably don't, but I check in a lot of music reactors who react to songs from other bands that I've loved from a long time ago. And I just want to see how they react to it, what do they think is cool about it? So just what you said. And it gives me a new insight into it, a new appreciation for it, which is helpful. I like it. All right. Well, Kevin, for folks who don't know, once again, we are 2 of the 3 co-hosts. Wendy can't be here. She's not yet a fan of The Warning, but we will warn her of tuning into Sci-Fi TV at tuningintoscifitv.com if you want to check it out. But Kevin, what else are you doing that folks might be interested in? You got any conventions? You love conventions. You going somewhere?
Yeah. Actually, as we record this, coming up in just about 3 to 4 weeks' time is going to be DragonCon, the world's largest fan-run convention, sci-fi, fantasy, pop culture. I am someone who's been involved in that convention for close to 20 years. I have a great time being able to volunteer at the con and also speak and moderate on fan discussion panels as well as celebrity guests. I moderate some of those for the convention. So very excited to get down there to Atlanta. Probably 70, 80,000 attendees. Going to be a blast. Celebrating things that folks love and enjoy.
Yeah, and often we get recordings of those panels that you're on or hosting or whatever, and we get to put those on our podcast feed, which is really amazing because, I don't get to travel. I'm not a big people person, which is strange that I'm going to concerts for the Warning, but I don't go to conventions. I think the only convention I've ever been to is a Farscape convention that you and I went to. Mm-hmm. Yeah, but beyond that, I just don't. So I really enjoy being able to do some work on those recordings that you do so I can hear those panels. It sounds like there's a lot of fun there.
Oh, absolutely. Really is. It's the passion. Love sharing the passion and hearing it, much like with talking about songs and reactors sometimes, shows or movies or things in the pop culture world that I may also be a big fan of, or maybe I barely know, and I get to hear someone who's very passionate about it talk about it or interact with them, and it's just a blast. Opens up even more things to enjoy and appreciate.
Yeah, and it's all about the community there too, with the conventions, all the people you see every year, and all that.
Yeah,
too.
Yeah, and especially with this one where it's fan run. I mean, there's more than I think now 2,200, 2,300 volunteers, of which I'm one, to be able to make it happen because it's all folks who just put in hours and hours all year long to lead up to it and make it so that everybody gets to have a great time.
Yeah, that's a great place to be. Anything else? Is that it?
Well, that's it right now. Just enjoying and counting down the days till getting to see the Warning live in Boston.
Excellent.
Yeah.
And I can't wait to hear you. We're going to get you back on the channel after you go and see them and get your
looking forward to it.
Your feedback. What your experience was, because then I'm going to set up my October Pomona, and I'll probably do the same thing on the channel and just let everybody know how I feel about that. But I'm looking forward to that too. So Kevin, thank you very much for being here. Appreciate you coming on.
My pleasure. I appreciate all your videos you're doing and so many other reactors too. It's great to be appreciating, enjoying, and a part of this community.
Thank you. And that's it, guys. If you want to follow Kevin, you can go to tuningtosci-fi-tv.com. I mean, that's one way to follow him. I think you've got socials too. Do you want to plug those?
Sure. I'm on the Twitter, the X as they call it, K Bachelder, or Instagram, KR Bachelder, probably the ones I'm most involved in. So check those out, or say hi. I'm looking forward to seeing some comments on what folks thought on this too.
Yeah, and there's plenty of comments on mine too. If you browse through my list after you watch it, there's a lot of people giving their list, which I encourage. So there's a lot of variety out there. All right, thanks for watching, folks, and I'll catch you next time. Bye-bye.